I saw the cigarette sitting on the windowsill last Saturday night. You only smoke when you drink, you only drink when you're mad, you're only mad when we fight. I should have trusted my gut, but I didn't. Guess I should know a little earlier on. I should have trusted my gut, but I didn't. Guess I should know a little earlier on that I was wrong.
102 on this Wednesday. Good afternoon. Welcome to EST Afternoons. I am Hernan Salas. That is Joaquin Gage. Behind the camera, we have Matthew Wannick. We're coming to you live from the William Huff studio. If you want your place to look as good as ours, visit the team at williamhuff.com. In business since 1952, so you know they are incredible at what they do. Thank you.
Incredible.
Thank you for joining us once again. Gager, they let us back to do a second show.
It's unreal, man. You know, like this, we're in uncharted territory now.
Yes, we are.
And if I can draw on old experiences of being a former NHL goaltender, I usually would have one good game, and then, you know, after that weak first period, looking over at that bench, suddenly I'm looking at Matty like he's a young Ron Lowe, and he might give me the look. So hopefully we can get through this game and I don't get pulled.
I think this is going to be the whole week's joke. Is just, hey, we're back for a third show. Hey, we're back for a fourth show.
It might be till Christmas. Let's face it.
Of course, you can listen to us live on EdmontonSportsTalk.com, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, or watch us on the EST YouTube channel. You want to connect with us? Hit us up on the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999, or on the famous Nasty Chat on YouTube. We got a fun show coming up, Mr. Joaquin Gage, as at 1:20 we'll be joined by an old friend from the old station, the 1260 Days, Zig Fracassi. He's going to talk some NFL. He also is a big CFL guy.
Yeah.
One of the rare and American reporters that always chimes in on the CFL as well. So he's from Sirius XM NFL. 1:40, first edition of Hernan's Roll. We'll have some fun with the NFL there. 2 o'clock, we'll just touch on all the stories around from the sports world, Oilers, Elks, NFL. At 2:20, Nick Anderson, rookie linebacker of the Edmonton Elks, is having an outstanding season. I don't think enough people are talking about him, but we'll touch base with Nick Anderson at 2:40. We'll close it out. Get ready for Thursday and tee up the Reed Wilkins show. Maddie, you're sitting behind there. What you think of the first EST Afternoon show?
Of your guys' show?
Yeah.
We're talking about that one?
Yeah.
Let me grab my notes here for a second. Let me get into the drawer here.
Yeah.
We want to do this now?
Here's everything that went wrong.
I had a chance to go back and listen, and it took me a while. No, you guys were fantastic. It was great. I'm happy to be behind the monitors. But I won't be here most of the time.
Yeah.
And I'm very much looking forward. Like, it's going to be perfect for me just when I know I'm in my office doing some work. Listening to the two of you guys talk is going to be just wonderful. I'm excited about it. You guys are going to talk a lot of various sports. But through show one, it was fantastic. I think the person that wasn't on camera was the problem yesterday. So
No. I mean, it's great to have a pro like Maddie when you're starting off a show.
Yeah.
Because it's like anything goes wrong, you know you're in good hands with Matthew. No, I'm not saying Zacticum wouldn't be able to handle it because I think the producers here are all top notch, but it was honestly, the feedback was fantastic, on YouTube, through the socials and all that. And it was exciting to kind of get that first one out of the way. Today, I think we're a little more relaxed, less sweaty.
Yeah, a little less. Well, not so much. There's like I mentioned earlier, this is like a man furnace in here with the amount of testosterone.
Too many dudes in here.
There's a lot of dudes in here. And we got to bring that fan in, Hernan, for next.
Maddie, is there a way to have a schedule of a certain amount of people allowed in?
Well, you went to and started cooking some food there, Gager.
Oh, I made lunch. Dusty brought in all that stuff from Italian Center Market. I was like, I've never tried the tortellini. Fired it up in the toaster oven. It's delicious. Really good.
You're our chef around here. Like, it took us a year to use that toaster oven.
I know. Well, it was in the closet.
Yeah, but we knew about it.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
I've known about it. We just never pulled it out and used it.
Yeah, because I don't know how many times I came in here and I go, are they going to eat these pizzas, like these frozen pizzas? And then finally I just fired it up. So.
Well, you just walked in about half an hour ago with a huge plate of tortellini, and I was like, man, you brought that from home? You're like, no, it's from here.
I asked Dusty first. And before I start another controversy with food, I had a little plate, left it out for everyone else. This isn't Jerkygate like it was before. So
Well, no one came clean for that.
Well, Tommy, basically, it's Tommy's fault.
It took about a week for anyone to come clean. You guys all hit it. No one said anything.
Everyone was implying me right away. Gager ate it. It was Gager's fault. Tommy's freewheeling out there with all the stuff. He's handing out sunglasses, cups, every piece of EST merch possible. And he left the jerky out. He should have taken it back.
It's fair game. I feel like Tommy's blamed for a lot here.
Well, I like giving it to Tommy. Whatever. Who cares?
Hey, let's get into some stories here. The Edmonton Elks getting ready for their rematch on Saturday at 5 o'clock. Tailgate's going to be buzzing. The weather's supposed to be plus 30. I think it's plus 32 for Saturday, which is going to be absolutely great. Of course, you can join Jay and Maddie down there at the Century Casino, Maddie, 4 o'clock.
Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, where every day is game day. Saturday, it's the prime rib sandwich that's on special for $11.99. It is delicious. The game day special is the cheese and jalapeno smoky for $14.99 with the waffle fries. Myself and Jay will be there at 4 o'clock.
Hey,
wow.
Hey, Maddie, you haven't, you went to the first game, right? Like, you guys went there and then went
twice.
back?
We've gone to 2 games, but for the most part, we've stuck around. Jay's kind of throwing out there that he might want to go to this game. But I think Commonwealth's going to be a little more busier, so it might be harder to get there.
Yeah.
You can jump on the LRT, though, can't you?
It's right there. A lot of people, actually, it's fun doing the post-game show as Jay and I finish up. A lot of people rolling in with their Elks gears on.
Nice.
The Elks gear on, and they had clearly come from the game, got on the LRT, come back to Century for a wonderful time to get on, get a bite to eat or jump on the tables or, like me, bet on the ponies. I'm big on the ponies right now.
Oh, I love the ponies. Have you ever been to the race track?
No, I have to get to Century Mile.
Oh, it's great, man.
Yeah, I went out there. I don't think you were there yet or something because I brought the family out there. It was fun.
Well, I worked there for the first 3 years.
Yeah.
I was doing the graphics and replays.
Yeah.
And, I've been going to the track with my dad since I was a kid.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so, you know what? And everybody, you read the program. I know what everything means, but you know what? I'll give you this kind of recommendation. Just go there and the horse you like the best, just bet on it. Like when you go through all the stats and all that, you rarely win, man. Like seriously, all it's going to show you is that there's a reason why number 3 is the favorite, and you make no money if you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I just go by it when they parade the horses out and you look at them. And you go, that one looks like a winner.
Yeah.
One that's got a little bit of attitude, a little bit of swagger when it comes through and it's paraded around. My son, I think, won $50 when we went.
I always bet if there's a gray horse in the race, I always bet on the gray.
I just look for the race.
That's Jay's thing.
Is it?
Yeah, I think that's everybody's thing.
Although we did it this past weekend and it failed. Miserably. It came last.
Yeah.
It was awful. It was awful.
Well, it doesn't mean it's going to win. It's just bet on it.
I remember I was in Hamilton and we were playing with the Bulldogs and we all went out to the racetrack and I basically was dead broke at that point and I saw a horse 100 to 1 and I go I'll throw $10 on it and it won. And I'm like, geez, I wish I would have put everything I owned on this thing. But it was crazy.
We were there about a month ago and we played a trifecta box. So you have to pick the top 3 horses in any order.
Yeah.
And the girlfriend was like, bet more. And I was being cheap and I said no. And we won. And we won like $140.
Yeah.
What a double. She was just so mad. She couldn't even enjoy the 120 because she's like, we could have doubled this. So
that's fun.
I like to play either exact or trifecta.
Yeah.
It's just more fun.
It's way more fun.
I know Maddie just plays.
No. I guess I know where you're going. I start with because I always get out of the horse betting for a little bit.
Okay.
So I start with betting win play shows or shows.
Yeah.
And then I start winning a lot. And I'm betting $2 a race. It's not a lot of money, but I'm winning the races. So then I go to just places. I need to finish top 2. Now I've graduated from places to wins. I'm just going for the wins.
Yeah.
And once I start winning a few of those, then I get into the trifectas. And I've never won a trifecta, I don't think.
Are you boxing it though?
Yes.
Okay.
I still fail. You don't want to take too many boxed.
The trick is if you're doing a trifecta, and I'm no expert on horse racing, but you always have to have one of the favorites. You have a mid tier, and then you have one that's a little drop, like a 9, 10 to 1.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Because then you're making money, right?
That's what I do when I'm betting right now with the places and the wins. Is I'm never betting a favorite. I'm betting the 9 to 1 odds, the 10 to 1 odds.
Of course.
That's where you go.
Yeah. Just look at the horses, man. You can tell when they come out and they're a little mad. You know, you don't want to relax.
A little restless,
horse.
right?
Yeah,
Like,
just kind of gives
like
you
the walker struggling, and you're
come
like,
on. Give them a little.
but you know what? It's also interesting when you look when they're doing like the parade around and they're just getting ready. I also like the calm horses.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't like the calm horses. They're too relaxed.
See, at Century Casino, though, I don't get to see that.
You can, though. Can
well, I'm
you?
not. Well, there's so many races.
Yeah, you're
I
not
just
like
go through-
focused in on it, right?
But I am a big fan of the Del Mar races out in San Diego, and a big fan of Saratoga. Mountaineer's not a bad race, but I've really fallen in love with the Del Mar races. I'm going hard on the Del Mar. I'm also supposed to be following an Elks game at that time, but I also very much followed the Del Mar races.
I can't believe us bunch of degenerates are talking about horse racing.
You should
now.
see the horse racing in South America, man. They have like 20 races a day and like 20 horses per race. It's
Really?
unreal. Because here, the problem with Edmonton, there's not enough horses. So a lot of the races are like 5, 6.
Yeah.
So it's really easy to win, right? Like you have to have like really bad luck not to hit at least one race. So that's the difference. But nonetheless, enough horse racing talk. I didn't think on the second show we'd go down this alley here, but I always hear Jay and Maddie talking about it when they're down there doing the Elks pre and post game show. So sounds like a good time. But some news coming out from the CFL: the Elks quarterback McLeod Bethel Thompson is named the CFL's honor roll for Week 13 as the best offensive player. He passed for 486 yards and 3 TDs. You can see it up there on the screen as well. Curly Giddens Jr. is the top graded receiver for Week 13. Maddie, I know this is
Plug your ears, man.
I know this is tough for you to see, but this is well deserved.
What? I can give credit where it's due, but you're like, great. You want to go? I'll go there right now.
Okay, let's
That's
go.
awesome. MBT had a great game. Is Trey Ford ever going to start another game for this franchise?
Well, of course he is.
Why?
But why would you
I
say
don't
that?
think MBT is now going to lose his job the rest of the season. I don't think this coaching staff will take it away from him. And if you're Trey Ford, why would you stay here? Because this is the third time you've lost your starting job with this franchise. Why would you stay with this franchise?
Could-
So great. They won this. MBT and this franchise won this battle, but they might end up losing this war. You got me going.
Yeah, that's an emotional.
Can we
ironic
just
over
take
there.
it one game at a time, Maddie? Can you look at it that way? Why not, though? So many things can happen in a game.
Because you have to look. I would take it one game at a time if I knew Trey Ford was extended for next year. Trey Ford is not extended for next year. Trey Ford could walk, and is MBT the guy that's getting extended for next year? So who's the quarterback of this team next year? We could focus on this season, but I look at Trey Ford and go, this is the starting quarterback for this franchise for a number of years down the line. But
So-
you're risking losing him because he's not signed. The only benefit of the doubt somewhat right now is Chris Jones is with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and maybe that takes the Ticats off the list of places he'd go.
He makes some good points there, Matty. But Hernan, you were removed really quickly. What do you think? Is he gonna stick around here, or do you think if Bethel Thompson? Geez, what's going on here?
Where you guys are on this is I think only happened once before.
what is going
EST.
on?
That's the storage, like electrical room behind them for the whole building, and they're working on the AC. And so he's got to get back there. And so for those watching on YouTube, you might just see some guy walking in and out of shot. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, that's. I thought they were gonna go get Whale and the Wolf and feed them or something.
Hey, listen, McLeod Bethel Thompson, 90.2. Curly Gittens Jr., 80 points there. And, I mean, you could have had Tevin Jones. You could have had Geno Lewis there. Just great to see the Elks land on the honor roll for Week 13 after a very impressive performance on Labor Day. Go ahead, fellas.
Yeah.
As long as we're getting that AC fixed.
Yeah, the man heat's just too much.
But when you look at the CFL, I think every team needs 2 quarterbacks. And I think it's right now, it's like win and you stay in. And I have no issues with that right now. I mean, he's coming off his best performance of his career, best performance in green and gold. So you can't make the move.
Okay, when you stay in, but why then didn't Trey Ford? Now I can't, like they ultimately go, why didn't Trey Ford start on Monday? MBT
Still
lost.
hurts?
And in the end,
I'm staying out of this one.
In the end, the thing is, let's say they lose to Calgary this Saturday, and they shouldn't. They're better than Calgary, but let's say they do. Are they really going to take away MBT for that next game against Winnipeg and go to Trey Ford? I don't believe they will.
I think they will.
I don't think they will.
I think they will, depending on how he plays. I mean, if he goes in and he still performs well, maybe not. But if there's anything questioning about that game, like last game was his best performance in an Elks uniform, was it not? Easily. So
that's why he got these honors.
Well, I mean, hearing that there was red zone packages for Trey Ford to come in, and although it wasn't necessary, that just tells me that he's still in the picture more than you think.
X-Ray J on the Nazi chat says, why? He got hurt. He doesn't lose the starter's position. Never had it. A new voice behind center to echo the new voice behind the bench. This one says, if MBT is the next starter, I would still like to see Trey Ford be involved. And I think that's what everybody wants to see is both guys, right? So,
and, well, we had Aaron Grimes on yesterday, and he was saying how he doesn't believe you win a Grey Cup without two really good quarterbacks in this league, right? So that's a guy that's been in the league for a long time.
Look at BC. You look at Montreal now with the emergence of Davis Alexander. I mean, Hamilton up until Powell got hurt, they were kind of...
But with Montreal, they gave the job right back to Fajardo.
Because he's a vet.
Yeah, but Davis Alexander was playing really well. They gave it right back to Fajardo once he was healthy. Don't lose your job to injury. So
Davis Alexander is going to be available at the end of the season?
You as a former pro, do you agree with you don't lose your job due to injury?
Depends how good the guy is, I think, and depending on the situation of the team. Like, it didn't... If in the case of the Elks, their biggest concern was wins, right? Montreal, completely different story. They're rolling. I think if the roles were reversed, I think you could see the same thing that happened in Montreal here in Edmonton.
Interesting. More on the green and gold. The Week 13 power rankings are out, Matt. If you can get that up there as well, and. It's great to see the green and gold in the top four. I can't remember, Matty, maybe you can. This is the last time they were ranked this high.
I don't know when it would be the last time this high. I was also trying to think on Monday, and I'll have to do some research. I don't know the last time outside if you take like the first week of the season, the Elks weren't fourth or fifth, in the division.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know the last time that they weren't holding, like they were sitting first, right, second, third, or fourth after a weekend. Where like everything was played, and because like last year they started off 0-8-9,
0-9.
This year 0-7, so they've stayed at the bottom both those years. So you'd have to go back to 2022, and I don't think it was 2022. 2021, I think there was maybe a point in like week 5 they were fourth or something. But it's like, when was the last time they were having this? I don't understand why Ottawa though is where they are. Edmonton should be 3 on this list.
I was just going to ask this of Gager and Maddie. Is there any team you would move and where on this power ranking?
Let me see.
While you're Ottawa should be down.
Where would you have them?
I would have them after Edmonton.
Okay. So
they have been doing well, but they go against BC, and it wasn't close, that football game. There's a moment maybe you thought Ottawa's going to come back, but no, they didn't. And the fact that they don't even move one spot. Montreal's won, absolutely. Winnipeg's playing really well. They should be at number 2. The Elks have been the third best team over the last 5-6 weeks.
I agree.
Ottawa, based on that loss this past week, should not be ahead of Winnipeg or Edmonton. They beat BC the week prior, so I could live with them still staying ahead of BC. I'd also have Saskatchewan ahead of Toronto right now. You're making me rant too much early.
Love it, man.
Yeah, no, I hate it's bad for radio, but I agree with Matt. Like, Ottawa doesn't belong in the number 2 spot. They're the way that the Elks and Winnipeg are playing right now. I think you can flip flop those 2 and 3. It's almost like they're both at 2, and then you go on with the rest. BC did look really good in that last game,
but that's their first win in 5.
Yeah, 6 and it was a special game. Nathan Rourke going home in Victoria. You'd expect that team to just dominate in that scenario.
That series between the Elks and Bombers is just going to be outstanding.
Yes,
both teams are finding their stride right now, right?
Yeah, they're both playing at a very high level. And a lot's on the line at this point with both teams.
And just to report as well, coming out of Winnipeg camp today at practice, Zach Collaros with the number one offense. So it looks like after what many called a cheap shot, it looks like he's going to be fine and ready to go here. So that's good news for Winnipeg. But we gotta get ready here for some NFL talk because the season is upon us. Kicks off tomorrow as the Chiefs take on the Baltimore Ravens. And to discuss all things NFL, we'll have Zig Fracassi joining us here in the next segment from SiriusXM NFL. As we head to break, first up, Matty Wanek with the Sports Update.
Edmonton Elks quarterback McLeod Bethel Thompson and wide receiver Curly Gittins were named as Week 13 CFL honored on the CFL Week 13 honor list. MBT was also the top offensive player following his 486-yard, 3-touchdown performance as he led the Elks to their Labor Day win over the Stampeders. Bombers quarterback Zach Collaros was QB1 at practice today as Winnipeg prepares for the rematch with the Riders on Saturday. Collaros left the game this past Sunday in the first half after taking a helmet-to-helmet hit. Damar Hamlin will start at safety for the Buffalo Bills in their Week 1 game against the Cardinals, marking his first start since he went into cardiac arrest during a game back in January of 2023. It's the PGA versus Live as Rory McIlroy and Scotty Scheffler are set to battle Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau in the next Hernan and Gager. I'm Matt Owanek. You're up to date.
Wake up with the Nielsen Show with Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. There's still time to book your tournament at the Ranch Golf and Country Club.
As one of Alberta's top tourney courses, the Ranch makes hosting fun and easy for any group or business. No matter how unique or unusual, they'll accommodate your vision for an event no one will soon forget.
Start planning your tournament today at their beautifully landscaped course on the outskirts of West Edmonton. On-site event coordinators are here to help, but hurry, availability is limited and booking fast.
Visit theranchgolf.com.
Get ready, Edmonton. The moment you've been waiting for is here. It's time to celebrate the best of the best with the Estes as we honor everything from Edmonton Sports Talk's incredible first year. Join us on September 17th at Metro Cinema for an unforgettable night of excitement, laughter, and recognition. Tickets are just $10. Secure your spot by emailing Matt at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. And after the show, let's keep the party going at Hudson's White Ave for the official after party. Mark your calendar, grab your tickets, and get ready to celebrate the best moments of EST. It's the Estes, September 17th.
If you've been injured in a car collision, let James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers, protect your interests. They'll be there every step of the way to help answer your questions and help you get your life back on track. Trust Alberta's precedent-setting injury lawyers with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, call James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers, 780-428-0088. Or go to jameshbrown.com.
.125 here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. It's EST Afternoons with Gager, Salas, Iwanek, as we're going to talk some NFL after a nice heated conversation on the green and gold, which really got Matty going.
Yeah, that was good. It was. I like seeing Matty fired up a little bit sometimes.
There's a few things that get him fired up, and the Elks quarterback debate is one of them. That's for sure.
And I mean, I agree with Matty, and I agree with a lot of the texters in there. There's a lot of love for Trey Ford and to see what he can do. I think I'd like to see him in the next game. It's hard to take out Bethel Thompson after the performance.
Of course. We're going to shift over to the NFL. You want to chime in and ask a question to our guest, Zig Fracassi, hit us up on the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999, or on the Nasty Chat on YouTube, as we now bring in an old friend, Zig Fracassi from SiriusXM NFL. Zig, how you doing, my friend?
Vernon, it's been a while. Joaquin, how you doing today?
We are doing great.
We're doing awesome. Thanks for joining us. This is you're our third guest. We'll probably do this for about another 6 times, say 7 times, but the third guest on EST Afternoons. Thanks for joining us, Zig.
Oh, absolutely. Looking forward to it. Of course, we're ready to start. I believe it's year number 105 of the National Football League, and got a good one to kick things off. A rematch of the AFC Championship game tomorrow with the Baltimore Ravens and the 2-time defending Super Bowl champ Kansas City Chiefs. Can't wait.
Yeah, Zig, you mentioned it. We're the wait's over. Clash of the Titans, it seems like, to start things off tomorrow night. Looking at this game, I mean, with the Chiefs, obviously, it's kind of all about the three-peat and getting that third straight Super Bowl victory. A great quarterback matchup, with Mahomes and Jackson. It's a long season, and obviously the Chiefs didn't get off to the great start last year. How much can you take from this game, and especially for a guy like Lamar, getting close but not getting to that the big dance, a Super Bowl game? How much does this mean for both teams to start the season off on a good foot?
Well, you would think that it might mean just a little bit more to the Ravens, simply because they had the home field advantage last year. Kansas City, one of the myths was, they didn't have to go through road games to win playoff games. Well, they debunked that myth, winning in Buffalo, winning in Baltimore last year. So you'd have to think from a motivational and obvious revenge standpoint that this game would probably be a little more to the Baltimore side. And Lamar, you know what, he's been an MVP for a couple of years now, and I like the kid personally and, does a lot in all this. But he's at that point, guys, where you have to start winning now. There comes a point where if you want to truly be considered among the absolute greatest, you have to at least get to and preferably win a Super Bowl. He hasn't done that, whereas Patrick Mahomes, right now, he's picked up the mantle from Brady as far as I'm concerned. What is it, 4 Super Bowl appearances in 5 years, 3 championships, back-to-back titles. And the thing about it with him is he can retire right now and have everything in the world, championships, gold jacket, probably a job wherever he wants afterwards. He's got all those business endeavors going, part owner of the Kansas City Royals and some other franchises. The point I'm getting at is he is still hungry like he was when he first got to the NFL. So when you've got that and you have your component parts being the head coach Andy Reid, the star tight end Travis Kelce, Steve Spagnuolo running the defense, the key 4 is still there in Kansas City. That's why I think they're primed and motivated to become the first team since the mid-'60s Packers to win 3 straight NFL championships.
Zig, shifting gears, another team that's been really close, San Francisco 49ers, had a ton of off-season drama with Brandon Ayuk, Trent Williams, the injury to CMC there. What are your expectations for this team early on? Because these guys missed all of camp for the most part here. Where do you see the 49ers and how do you see them starting off the season?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I mean, first and foremost, where are they psychologically after, the horrific event of this past weekend with the top pick, Ricky Pearsall being shot in a robbery attempt in downtown San Francisco? And we had Dante Whitner on, of course, the former NFL safety, does work for NBC Sports Bay Area. He was at that same event, and he told us, he's like, he wound up hearing about this shortly thereafter, and he had been in touch with Ricky and that everything was going to be all right. So that was kind of breaking news, if you will, that was on my NFL radio show over the weekend. But back to your question, where are they psychologically? You're thinking about this kid. He's going to be all right, which is good. Are their heads going to be focused in the right spot? Obviously, Ayuk is back. Trent Williams is back. McCaffrey and all this. And you're facing, of course, a Bay Area product, if you will, in Aaron Rodgers, of course, played at Cal. So big storylines. And, guys, I'll tell you this, and I've said this all along, everybody's hyping this as week 1 of the NFL regular season. far as I'm concerned, this is week 4 of the preseason. You're going to have at least 3 or 4 more weeks of this because, quite frankly, these teams don't play their starters most of the time in the preseason. The play is going to be ragged, so the games do count. But to me, in my mind, there's still a lot of kinks. You may be seeing some, fairly bad football the first 3 or 4 weeks before everybody gets into a groove and really starts playing in overdrive.
Zig Verkazi with us from the NFL on Sirius XM. Zig, another team that was, I don't know if it was surprising, but I guess it was, is the Detroit Lions, with some questionable calls coming down the stretch and not getting to obviously where they wanted to be. What do you see? Can they take the next step this year and kind of get to that next level from where they were last year? Because I think they surprised a lot of teams.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, simply because, they proved that the run that they went at the end of 2022 was no fluke, because obviously they got to as far as they did in terms of, the championship game. And to be quite honest with you, I thought they should have beat the 49ers. There's no question about that. I thought they should have beat them in that particular game, I mean, I think those calls you were referring to, were Dan Campbell and him being aggressive like he is, passing up those sure field goal opportunities, or relatively sure field goal opportunities. I think now, you look at this team, I think they realize that they are a target. There is expectation. But Jared Goff, I think, still has something to prove, even though he's got his new contract. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I think he's not going to be satisfied, even though he got his new money. I think he's got a lot to prove. They took care of Sewell. So the expectations there, and I think for the first time in, the late 50s, early 60s, you might have a seriously legitimate football threat with the Detroit Lions. So they are definitely up there in terms of teams to beat, and I think justifiably so.
Zig, we got, it's always great, the rookies that come into the NFL. We got 3 starting quarterbacks, Caleb Williams in Chicago, Jaden Daniels for Washington, and Bo Nix in Denver. This might be tough, but if you had to rank them on who you think is going to have the most success in year 1, how would you go?
Ooh, that is a good question. I would probably say Caleb, simply because, the Chicago Bears weren't a bad team towards the end of last year. They were playing some very good ball. The defense was playing at a high level and, very good against the run especially. So, unfortunately, they just didn't have the ability to close out games. Mm-hmm. And they think that, obviously, Caleb Williams has that ability to succeed. When you draft a Roma Dunze, you already had DJ Moore to the mix. You had the tight end in Everett to complement Cole Kmet. They've already been pretty good in terms of the backfield. And because their defense is already so solid, and let's face it, Eberflus, good coach, but now I think they have to take at least that next step in terms of getting to a playoff. So I think Caleb's got a better chance to succeed right away. I think Jaden in D.C.'s got he's going to be good, but I think he's going to take his lumps early on because, quite frankly, I don't think that roster, at least offensively, is good as what Caleb has in Chicago. Same thing with Knicks out in Denver, although, Sean Payton is the quarterback whisperer, so we'll see how this goes. But to answer your question, I think Caleb would probably have the best chance to succeed right away among those top 3.
Yeah, Ziggin, what are you hearing? What's the latest on Jamar Chase there and with the Cincinnati Bengals?
I guess today he actually practiced. Yeah. So read into that what you want. And he's been around the team, so it's not like he's, wanting to be away, I guess. And let's face it, if you look at his current deal and for what he's done, he's totally outperformed it. But that's why they have this mechanism, these rookie deals now in the National Football League where they're all slotted. Now, does Mike Brown and, his daughter Katie run the Bengals? Do they, do a last-minute adjustment to the contract, maybe give him some more upfront this year, because next year, the 5th-year option, that kicks into like $22 million, which still leaves him underpaid. But to me, there's no doubt that this kid, he and Burrow have a very good relationship. You don't want to piss off your quarterback. I think Jamar Chase will obviously still be a top shelf receiver in the NFL. And, say what you want about Mike Brown and, his penny pinching ways, but he has kept guys that he wants around in Cincinnati. And something tells me he wants to keep his quarterback happy. And in time, Jamar Chase will get paid.
Zig, there's one last one for you here. We were talking about this a few weeks ago, and kind of it's already been announced that Russell Wilson's going to be the starting QB in Pittsburgh.
Right.
Is this going to be a tandem system, or is this kind of see how it goes with Russell Wilson, see if they can rekindle some old magic before possibly Justin Fields takes over?
It's a great question again. And really, I guess it was framed as a competition, but I think deep down they wanted Russ to win this ultimately. Now, having said that, would I be surprised, first of all, if there's like a package of plays for Justin Fields? No. In fact, Tomlin even alluded to that, but he just didn't address it on the day they announced that Wilson was the starter. So, there's going to be a package of plays there. And I got to think, for a team that's got a new offensive coordinator, they've revamped the offensive line, they look to be a little bit sort of in flux right now in Pittsburgh. If Russell comes out of the gate and instead of being let Russ cook, Russ is cooked, So if that's the case, then maybe week 4, week 5, we could see a change. But again, it's all going to be dependent on how he's used in their offensive system. So he's a good guy. He's been a multiple-time Pro Bowler. Didn't work out in Denver, although the numbers last year would tell you that he was actually not all that bad. There was just a lot of things going on in Denver. So long answer to your question, I think he may be on a relatively short leash. And with the Steelers playing in that ultra-competitive AFC North, maybe Tomlin doesn't wait all that long if Russell does struggle at least through the first 4th, maybe 3rd of the season.
Zig, before we let you go here, I know you always keep track on the CFL here, and I saw you kind of quote tweet that we had Nick Anderson on from impressive rookie here with the Edmonton Elks and played at Tulane. And what can you tell us about him? Yeah?
Oh, yeah. We had him on, I think it was last year before the draft, and I honestly thought that, Nick would have a decent chance in the NFL. And he still may, because we've seen guys come out of the CFL, but the classy young man, just remember him being an absolute tackling machine for the Green Wave, and it doesn't stun me at all that he's having success up there with the Elks. And, of course, my guy running the team now, the former Notre Dame quarterback, Jarius Jackson, hopefully has them in the right direction.
That's awesome. That's why I love talking with you, Zig. You always have a beat on the CFL as well. And this season's been fantastic here down in Canada. Just every game's come down to the wire. But the NFL season does kick off tomorrow. Ravens at Chiefs. Zig, thank you so much for joining us. I'm sure we'll have you on once again once the season kicks off here. But Zig, thank you for your time today. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Hernan, Joaquin, anytime, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
Zig's awesome.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
That's great.
Notre Dame. Yeah, Jarius Jackson. Niles Morgan also played at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I think that might be my new college team. I haven't committed yet. But
Isn't that Dusty's team, Notre Dame? Is that I don't know. But I love the passion of the NFL guys before, they're fired up and ready to get this thing going.
And it's not 9 teams. It's they have the beat on every single team.
I know.
We could ask them about any.
I know he's just
team, and I know Starzilla's a little upset we didn't go Cowboys. We just ran out of time here. Dallas Cowboys. You can always stir up a conversation about that.
There's always something there.
There's always something there, but it was great to catch up with Zig once again, and I truly love. And like I said, Nick Anderson coming up at 220, played at Tulane for the Green Wave, had really good numbers. Also attended training camp, played in a few preseason games with the New Orleans Saints last year, but he is a
tackling machine,
and he hits hard.
Oh yeah. There's certain guys that hit to hurt. You know,
And that guy does.
And they aim for, like, if they're tackling a guy from the front, they're aiming for his back through the front, right? And you can tell it's crazy.
He's just, from the first time I saw him at rookie camp this year until now, like, I'm not surprised by his success. Like, and like Zig said,
He's
he
he's
might get an
surprised.
opportunity in the NFL. He's still fairly young,
Yeah,
right?
he was surprised that he didn't. So
It's just, it's awesome to see. And Nick Anderson's really getting noticed in the CFL game. Coming up next, one of our old school segments we used to rock on Sports Night and Lowdown and on the post game show. I think we did it on the post game show. Hernan's World. Now it's going to be generally sports. Sometimes we'll have some fun if there's a big celebrity birthday or a big news day in terms of movies or shows or anything like that. But we'll bring back Hernan's World every Wednesday. The times will kind of change depending on the guest list as well. And then tomorrow, Red Light District. We still have to buy some props for that, but
it's hey, if you want to advertise on our show, we need a red light.
Maddie, is that in the budget? A red light.
We'll send the email to HR Daddy. See what he says.
See
We
what
get
he
a red
said.
light in.
I was checking on Amazon already. They're not too expensive. They're not too. All right,
Or you
coming
guys
up.
could just try to get the other one to work.
I tried today. There's no.
Open it up. It just needs to be opened up and fixed a little bit.
Okay. Maybe I'll take that home. Have a look. Get out the soldering iron, you know.
Yeah. You're listening to EST Afternoons with myself, Hernan Salas, and Joaquin Gage. Maddie Iwanek behind the camera. Up next, it's Hernan's World coming up here. But first, here's a sports update with Matthew Iwanek.
Edmonton Elks quarterback and McLeod Bethel Thompson and wide receiver Curly Gittins were named to the Week 13 CFL honor list. MBT was also the top offensive player, following his 486-yard, 3-touchdown performance as he led the Elks to their Labor Day win over the Stamps. Bombers QB Zach Collaros was QB1 at practice today as Winnipeg prepared for their rematch with the Riders on Saturday. Collaros left the game this past Sunday in the first half after taking a helmet-to-helmet hit. Damar Hamlin will start at safety for the Buffalo Bills in Week 1 against the Cardinals, marking his first start since he went into cardiac arrest during a game back in January of 2023. And the Toronto Blue Jays look to split their 2-game series against the Philadelphia Phillies. Bowen Francis gets the start for the Jays. Coming up next, it's Hernan's World on EST Afternoons with Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage. I'm Matt Iwanek. You're up to date.
Get all the latest news and takes on everything Oilers with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola on the Oil Stream. Live at noon, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
At A&W, you can start the morning off right with a regular coffee and an egger of your choice for just $4.99. Bacon and egger or sausage and egger on a seeded bun or an English muffin? The choice is yours. But we know it'll be tasty either way. And to make matters even more delicious, this offer is available all day. But don't snooze on this deal. An egger and a regular coffee for only $4.99 is a limited time price. Available at participating A&W restaurants in Greater Edmonton.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as newborn 8-pound, 6-ounce Mitch Lewicki. You can picture grown-up Mitch, or teenage Mitch, or bearded Mitch, or whoever you want.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, ParkMazda.ca.
.46 Wednesday afternoon, EST Afternoons. Hernan Salas, Joaquin Gage, Matthew Iwanek. Hernan's World coming up here in mere seconds. I gotta find a nice little zinger for it.
Yeah,
You know?
it'll come, buddy. It'll come. But first, speaking of, before we get to Hernan's World, I just, I know we're adding you to the show a lot here, Maddie, but I just had a little discussion with Hernan and during that commercial break. We were looking at kind of MVP candidates for next year and looking at them all, even though the rankings of quarterbacks 1, 2 is obviously Mahomes and Jackson, but Lamar is like, I'm seeing on CoolBet plus 1,700 to win the MVP. Why are those so low? Is it because it's very difficult to go back to back with the MVP award, or why no love for Lamar to repeat as MVP?
I'm going to pull it up here so I can look at it. So you got Dak, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, Brock Purdy, Jordan Love, Joe Burrow, C.J. Stroud, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes all ahead of him, and I went from bottom to the top. Patrick Mahomes, the favorite. I think there's three reasons I could point to. One would be what you said, like hard to go back to back. Two, with the addition of Derrick Henry, I could see maybe a little more of the run game being added a little more in Baltimore, so the passing numbers might take a little bit of a step back from Lamar, or maybe you get close to the end zone, you hand it off to Derrick Henry to put it in the end zone as opposed to Lamar coming in. And the third is there are questions about, I would say, the Baltimore Ravens offensive line. And they lost some players, and I don't know if they got improved. So I'm straight up worried that this might be a big bounce, step back year for the Baltimore Ravens. And we will have to wait and see. So I wonder if that's playing into this, is that there's not a lot of confidence in the offense overall. Yeah, it doesn't. It's Baltimore. They don't always have the greatest receiving cores. They got Zay Flowers. They've got Rashad Bateman. Mm-hmm. They do got Mark Andrews, but it's not like it's a stacked receiving core it's Ravens. They don't do that.
All right.
John the Breadman texts in, says Gager salad sounds like a high-end dish for your steak dinner.
It does, actually. That's.
We'll get to Hernan's World here. We're going to do an NFL edition. The NFL kicks off tomorrow, and Maddie's going to participate in this as well. I'm making him do it. So, we're going to have some fun. Make sure to chime in on the Paris Jewelers inbox at 780-218-9999. Send in your top three that we're going to get to here shortly, or hit us up on the Nasty Chat. We'll try to get to as many as we can. In honor of the NFL season kicking off, we're going to start with this one. Boys, give me one team that will surprise in the 2024 NFL season.
I think it's going to be the Bengals. I just think it's Joe Burrow having the injuries. I think he's fully healthy going into this year's season. I just think he's going to surprise. Not that he's a huge surprise.
Yeah.
But I'm a fan. I'm a Joe Burrow fan. No, I like the unis too. When they go to that white Bengal tiger, those look hot.
You like the sway.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of confidence. If I had an ounce of that confidence in my professional hockey career, I'd still be playing probably. That guy, he's and I want to see him win. He seems like a pretty good dude. So I'm going to go with the Bengals.
Maddie?
It's your topic. You started, and then it comes to me.
Sure, I'll go. Which one was it again? Which team will surprise?
Surprise.
I can't even ask. I can't remember what I asked. You know what? I'm going to, I'll probably take some heat for this one, but the Bears. I like the Caleb Williams. You heard Zig say he's probably going to have the most success out of the three starting quarterbacks. I'm not saying they're going to go all the way, but I think they're going to be better than they were last year. I think they're going to push in that division as well. Sam Darnold is starting in Minnesota. I don't know how well that's going to go. Obviously, he's more mature. I saw him a bit last year with the 49ers. Looks better than obviously when in his younger days with the New York Jets. But I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears.
I got the Cardinals.
Oh, you know what? That was my second pick.
They were 1-8 last year, and we're just looking at it in the hangout. They were 1-8 last year, and then they won 3 of their last 8. Like they were 3-5 down the stretch. And they were their last game of the season. They lost by a point. They're slowly. It looked like we're starting to turn around a little bit at the end of the season. They pushed the Eagles really well. I don't think they beat the Eagles in that game. I think, but there was a game where the Eagles got up big, and they made it a game. You add, Marvin Harrison Jr. to that receiving core. I do like Michael Wilson. I would say that the Cards are a team that I think maybe surprises a little bit and are in contention and maybe sneak their way into a playoff spot or something. But that's the team I'm looking at as surprising this year.
Like that pick, Matty. You won the first round.
He did not.
Boom. All right, the second one. Which team will be a disappointment?
You're asking me?
Let's just go.
I'm going to go with the Eagles.
Ooh.
Just with, I think, the turmoil with the coaching staff, losing Kelsey, like kind of the cornerstone of that organization, and just the way that the things completely fell apart last year. And I think they were playing, I think maybe it was they weren't as good as they thought they were with the early competition, and they were barely winning games, right? And then they started playing some better teams, and it seemed like everything just didn't work. And I do believe that there's just going to be a continuation of that for Philadelphia.
I like that one. I'm going to go, and this is not going to be, well, it might be a popular pick because from the AFC East, I'm going to say the Buffalo Bills take a step back this year and disappoint. 11-6 last year, but they lost a lot offensively here. So, and listen, Josh Allen's a great talent. Is he going to have the weapons? How's that team going to? Jets have Aaron Rodgers. Dolphins are going to be good. Patriots are probably going to be at the bottom again. But I think the Bills are going to have some serious issues there in that division. So I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills.
Hernan's going to get mad at me.
I knew you were going to go this way.
No, you don't. You don't know which way I'm going. The Chicago Bears.
Oh,
you picked the Bears.
Okay, I thought you were going to.
I'm going with the Bears. I think they're this disappointment. I don't believe in Caleb Williams.
Okay.
Did not like him at USC. Didn't like. I don't think he's ready for the pressure of the National Football League. There were times last year at USC they would lose a big game and he wouldn't speak to the media and UFC sheltered him. You can't get away with that in the National Football League, and you definitely can't get away with that in the city of Chicago when you're the starting quarterback of the Bears. That's a team that just I don't think they ever get it done, and I'm not sold on what they did there. So while you and Zig are saying you're going higher, that's where to me this is going to be a disappointment. We're going to see the Bears be more of a bottom team this year. I think they should have stuck with Justin Fields and traded that top pick and got another offensive lineman or something else to build that team. They shouldn't have went this way. I'm just not sold on Caleb Williams. So that's where I'm going to get mad. Like I said, you're going to get mad. I'd like the 49ers. That's why I took their defense and their kicker for my fantasy.
But I think they're going to have a slow start.
Who, the 49ers?
Yes, especially offensively, because a lot of their top players were hurt.
As long as their defense doesn't, I'm good.
Yeah, that's a good point. What, Maddie?
Maddie, go have some tortellinis. You're really hot. You're hangry right now.
Maddie.
Go get something in your belly here.
We're talking about a disappointment team. It's not supposed to be happy. I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, this is the Bears. I go Jolly Gee. They're just I got to pick someone.
I'll ask you because out of the three of us, you're probably the big college guy here. I'm getting into it. What didn't you like about Caleb Williams in college?
Well, and now look, maybe USC, part of the problem was the defense was trash at USC. But they just didn't go get the wins in the big games. But then the other thing to me is the pressure of USC, where when they lost, I don't care that he cried. I don't care. Some people will point to that he was crying. I don't care about that. That shows me someone cares. I care that he didn't speak. And people could sit there and be like, no one cares about the media. But once you're in the National Football League, you are expected to do those. When you lose a football game, you need to go stand behind that podium and speak to the media. And if you can't do that at college, you're not ready to do that in the National Football League. So when you struggle, I don't think he has it in him to handle the pressure of the National Football League. Also, part of this is USC does not actually produce a lot of great quarterbacks. They produce a lot of great college quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Their quarterbacks, more often than not, when they come to the pros, do not do well. That is a program that doesn't develop top-end quarterbacks. Caleb Williams might just be another one in those lines.
In the nasty chat, Chris Run says, Eagles going Super Bowl champs as my long bet. La Bamba guy says, the Vikings. JCD780 says, Bears are winning the Super Bowl. So he's high and he's probably just chilling, joking about that one. Tom Gazzola says, hope you're right, Maddie, on your Arizona Cardinals.
Tommy, don't have to hope. I am right.
Well, no one's dethroning the Niners in that division, so whatever happens doesn't really matter. And the last one here to round up the top three.
Oh, who won that round? Me? Again? I'm going to give it to me. I'm 2-0.
I don't know about that. I think my pick's pretty solid there on the disappointment. But it's I wouldn't say it's an easy one, but it's an interesting one because it's a lot of QBs. I think we've seen one running back in the last it's been a decade at least. Who will be your early pick for MVP of the season? Gager?
I just, we heard Sig talk about it, and there's a guy, he's waking up in silk sheets and has everything going for him, but there's still the fire that's burning, smoldering to win that third championship. He's electric to watch. I just think it's going to be Patrick Mahomes this year, and I think they get back to the Super Bowl again.
On Coolbet, his odds are he's the leader.
He's the leader on Coolbet, at plus 525. So that's a good little sprinkle for a future.
It's so hard for a
Look at you going with the sprinkle.
Oh, well, I learned from the best, man.
It's been around Dusty way too long.
I know.
It's so hard to not go quarterback, right? Like CMC, I know he was up for it last year. I think he might have finished 4th or 5th in voting, but it's just so tough.
Yeah.
Like Adrian Peterson, I think we were talking with Reed, is the last non-quarterback to win it.
I don't know about the voting or anything, but was McCaffrey considered at any point as an MVP?
Yeah, last season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's phenomenal to watch. But I don't know. I think it's Mahomes to lose.
I really hope it's not Mahomes because I'm kind of annoyed by him.
Yeah, I know.
You know, he keeps
Kermit.
beating the 9. Have you seen the guy, his lookalike from college?
Yeah.
That is amazing.
It's unreal.
Maddie, have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
Yeah. Oh, man. I might have the pick tomorrow and we'll bring it up here, but he is just, I mean, if you didn't know any better, it's Patrick Mahomes.
It's Patrick Mahomes, yeah.
For my MVP, this one's a tough one. It is because, and I'm intrigued why Lamar's so far down.
So why you think? And last year Lamar was first, Dak was second, McCaffrey was third. Yeah. Lamar had 49 of 50 first place votes. Josh Allen had the only other vote. So that's the AP MVP voting. The AP Offensive Player of the Year was Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
So Lamar wins the MVP, but not the offensive player. It goes to Christian McCaffrey.
Oh man, this is a
He was
tough
fourth.
one. Yeah, because Mahomes is the obvious. I don't think Allen, Burrow are going to be up for it. Jordan Love, who's an exceptional young talent. Same with CJ Stroud. But can we see a back-to-back Lamar Jackson?
Well, Matty did lay it out with the holes on the offensive line.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry probably getting the ball a little bit more, but you could almost say that too will free up Lamar.
Yeah, and he might
more
be just
to run more, right?
As a Ravens fan, I'll just say when I was speaking there, I'm an idiot. And Hernan's right. Let Lamar do it too, straight.
I'm going to go Lamar Jackson to get it back-to-back. Maddie?
I'm going to go CJ Stroud. I think the Texans are going to he's add Stephon Diggs to his receiving core. Great year last year. I want to take Patrick Mahomes, but I think Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs don't care about the regular season. They're a team that they'll get there.
Yeah.
Do whatever. They don't care. They don't need to go on the road. They don't need to be at home. They showed it last year. They could go on the road. They don't care. Once January comes, that's when they'll pick it up. So I think Patrick Mahomes can have a little bit of softer year. He's all good. It's about January. Like it's what the Patriots used to be with Tom Brady. And so I think Stroud maybe sneaks in and grabs that one.
Is it too soon, Maddie, for guys like Jordan Love, CJ Stroud?
To win an MVP?
Yeah.
Lamar won his first when he was pretty young.
Because that Texans offense looking pretty sexy.
Lamar's only 27. He has 2 MVPs.
Yeah.
So he won in 2019 in, what year was that? In the his second year. That was his first year, full year starting. So CJ Stroud absolutely could go win it this year.
NFL MVP favorites on Coolbet. You have Patrick Mahomes at plus 525, Josh Allen plus 600, Joe Burrow plus 1,000, CJ Stroud plus 900, Jalen Hurts 1,500, Jordan Love plus 1,400, and Lamar Jackson plus 1,700. That might be
it's the best bang
worth
for
a
your
sprinkle.
Just a little sprinkle.
Just a little.
Right?
Or maybe a lot.
Yeah, keep those coming into the Nasty Chat and at the Paris Jeweler inbox at 780-218-9999. First hour is over here as we get ready for the second. We'll have Nick Anderson from the Edmonton Elks, impressive linebacker there who's third in the CFL in defensive tackles, just really having a great season, coming on strong with his partner there, Niles Morgan. I mean, those two coming at you must be a pretty scary sight.
Yeah. No
Just
doubt.
the way they throw their bodies around. But yeah, we're going to have some fun here in the second hour of EST Afternoons. I'm Hernan Salas. He's Joaquin Gage. We'll be right back. But first, nope. That's right, man. We're going to break. And following the break, it's going to be Matty Iwanek leading us into hour 2 with a sports update.
Two guys and a goalie.
I don't mind analytics. I just don't like when people are like only analytics and only this, and they're like, oh, you can't do that, guy is, and so he's horrible. And I'm like, let's watch the tape, and then let's look at those analytics and say why some of that stuff happened before we make our decisions.
Cass is good in the sheets, the Excel spreadsheets.
I was going to say,
like
Cass, what do you think of analytics? By the way, this episode will be called Cassalytics. Hey, I think it's got to be.
Yeah.
Two guys and a goalie with Gager, Cassian, and Nielsen. Tuesday and Thursdays at noon. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
Few of us can say that we're over 60 and still hot, but Mr. Mike's Burger can. And to celebrate over 60 years of Mr. Mike's famous burger, you're invited to taste history for only $8.99 at Mike Burger Madness. Savor the original flame-grilled Mike Burger on their signature garlic French loaf for a limited time. Dine-in-only price of just $8.99. Sides extra. It's Mr. Mike's Mike Burger Madness, and you'd be mad to miss it. Offer ends September 30th. Eat locally, enjoy casually.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of The Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
Edmonton Elks quarterback McLeod Bethel-Thompson and wide receiver Curly Gittins Jr. were named to the Week 13 CFL honors list. MBT was also the top offensive player following his 486-yard, 3-touchdown performance as he led the Elks to their Labor Day win over the Stampeders. Bombers QB Zach Collaros was QB1 at practice today as Winnipeg prepares for their rematch with the Riders on Saturday. Collaros left the game this past Sunday in the first half after taking a helmet-to-helmet hit. Damar Hamlin will start at safety for the Buffalo Bills Week 1 against the Cardinals, marking his first start since he went into cardiac arrest during a game back in January of 2023. And it's the PGA versus LIV as Rory McIlroy and Scotty Scheffler are set to battle Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau in the next installment of the match, which will take place out in Las Vegas in mid-December. Coming up next, it's the second hour of the EST Afternoons with Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage. I'm Matt Iwanek. You're up to date.
Wednesday afternoon, live from the William Huff Studios. If you want your place to look as good as ours, visit the team at williamhuff.com. In business since 1952, so you know they are incredible at what they do. I'm Hernan Salas, joined by Joaquin Gage, Matthew Iwanek behind the camera here as we kick off hour 2 of EST Afternoons. Coming up in this hour, Nick Anderson. In about 15, 16 minutes, the Edmonton Elks rookie linebacker who's having an outstanding season. We'll catch up with him. And in this segment, we're just going to go open, have some fun, and talk some stories from around the NHL. Gager, Tyson Barrie signs a PTO with the Calgary Flames. Now, it was rumored that Edmonton might be interested again. He was good while he was an Edmonton Oiler. I don't know what happened in Nashville last year. I truly don't know what happened because he just fell out of favor there.
Yeah, I don't. People say that Trotz wasn't happy with his play, something along those lines. Mm-hmm. Look, Tyson Barrie's been a very good NHL player for a long time. Part of me, I like to see them kind of bring the band back together because when he left, I think there was a little bit of a void there with a key piece. I mean, they obviously replaced it with something unbelievable, but I just mean the camaraderie of the team, right? Yeah. And not that Ekholm didn't fit seamlessly, but still, when you lose a guy that everyone likes, it's tough, you know.
What a steal, eh?
Oh my gosh! But I loved when Ken Holland talked about that whole thing. That was that was in the works from the start of the season, talking to Nashville about Ekholm. So it was a lot of work put in there, but
under the radar.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. But when you look at the landscape, right, and you look at the salary cap, Calgary, if I'm Tyson Barrie, I look at that and go, well, they got a lot of cap space.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at their defensive roster, only 2 real names pop out to me when you look at it. And here's a guy that can come in, and I know Anderson's kind of their quarterback on the power play, but isn't Tyson Barrie an upgrade on the power play compared to Anderson?
Ideally, you probably want to save Anderson because he's such a good player on the penalty kill.
Yeah.
Same with Mackenzie Weegar. I mean, they're not your traditional offensive defenseman. I think they play there because there's no one else.
He was really good last year. Offensively, it was crazy.
Because if you look at them right now, it's Mackenzie Weegar, Daniil Miromanov, Kevin Ball, Rasmus Anderson, Braden Pakal, and Jake Bean. You're telling me Tyson Barrie cannot crack that lineup?
Yeah, some of those guys I've never even heard of. So
that's what I mean.
Yeah,
so it's good on him because it seems like the players loved him, and you saw the clip when Kenny Holland called him to tell him he was traded.
I know.
A lot of heartache in that call from Tyson Barrie. An overall good guy, but I'm just fascinated what happened to him in Nashville because he just fell out of favor and couldn't get into the lineup. And it was rumored that, and a lot of the insiders had it, that the Oilers, there was some interest there, maybe on a PTO, but for me, it never made sense because as much as the Oilers need puck movers, but they need guys that are more solid defensively than offensively at this point.
Yeah, and look, there were some defensive blemishes in Tyson Barrie's game, and when he left, which was the most surprising thing, and I think we talked about it at length, was the fact that he was quarterbacking that power play that was going nuts at the time. And could Evan Bouchard go in there and it actually got better with Bouch, which was...
Yeah, because the concern was that it was going to take a step.
Yeah, it was going to take it. And I mean, it was running at like, I don't know, it was like a little over 30%. And I think it jumped up 2% after Bouch took over. And it took him a while too, which was funny. Like he was deferring a lot. They both have, and I've talked about this before, if you were to listen to them shoot the puck, it sounds different with Bouch and 100%, Tyson. Yeah. Like it sounds like there's, what's the word I'm looking for? Baritone, like a deep bass when they touch up a puck. It's like boom.
Yeah.
Sometimes you hear this like slap. You know, it's some guys different. Like when Connor McDavid takes a one-timer, it's kind of slap. You know, it's not. It doesn't have that resonance when you hear Bouchard just
heavy.
Oh, it's just a cannon. And Tyson Barrie was the same thing. Like I remember when I was doing the game with Gene and I was kind of turned around, and this was when the bubble was going.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I heard and it's weird. Sometimes as a goalie, I can hear how shots come off sticks. I go, that's a goal. And Barrie stepped into one and it was this big sound and just like rocketed it past. I forget the goalie. But it's those two can really shoot the puck. It's amazing what Bouchard was able to do. But yeah, I like that move for Calgary. I think if they have another option, and not every team has just one power play unit like the Edmonton Oilers. And I think even if he's not in the first unit, if camp goes well and things like that, he could be a good piece on that second power play. 33
years old, 505 points in 809 career games. He's got 21 playoff points in 47 playoff games. It's funny the trajectory of Tyson Barrie. Do you remember back in the day? You might have been at 12-6 already doing some hits, but like when he was in Colorado, man, he was sought after.
Oh yeah.
Here in Edmonton, everybody was saying, "Go get Tyson Barrie."
But the thing that, because you don't really watch too many Avalanche games, you know, and so you'd watch highlights of him, like toe dragging guys at the blue line, coming in and just rifling pucks in. Like he was unbelievable. And obviously the Oilers got him when he was a little bit older, but yeah, he was one of the top offensive defensemen in the league for a couple of years there. And then just Colorado's done an amazing job of drafting and getting some guys that are very highly skilled offensively on the back end.
Yeah, I mean, they were able to fill that void, but I always found it. I think they've done okay.
They've done okay.
Jesus. I guess the point I'm trying to make is that, but when he came to Edmonton, like it was mostly the analytics crowd that they were just so hard on Tyson Barrie, and I was just like, if you expect him to be Matthias Ekholm in terms of defending, that was never him. Not even in Colorado. Do you know what I mean? And it was just funny because he was so sought after when he was the Avalanche. Like. I was at 1260 since 2014, and it was always get Tyson Barrie. He comes to the Edmonton Oilers, puts up pretty decent numbers, like really good numbers, and then like we couldn't wait to get rid of this guy.
Yeah.
But that's how it goes here when you're talking about Edmonton Oilers players, right? Because it was the same thing when we can go through a list of the guys they've acquired at the trade deadline or acquired in the offseason that everybody wanted, and then things don't go as well. Or, I mean, that's a little unfair because I thought Tyson Barrie played well for the Edmonton Oilers, but when you look back at it now, 2 years ago on that March day when the news came down that the Oilers were acquiring Ekholm for Tyson Barrie, at the time you're like, well, that's pretty even. But after watching Ekholm for the last 2 years, like the Oilers, that was one of Kenny Holland's best moves. And I know you had to give up Reed Schaefer, an interesting prospect, but the Oilers, if they had to do that again, they do it 100 times.
Well, you don't know what kind of player Reed Schaefer was going to turn into. I loved his nickname, but
what was his nickname?
Ginger Beef. Bones into the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999. Trying to get his Jackass of the Day award. Breaking news, Joaquin Gage thinks Ekholm isn't good in the room. Never said that, Bones. He is a huge piece of the puzzle. And also saying that Joaquin Gage says Connor McDavid has a weak shot. Now listen, Bones. Connor McDavid would light me up, all right? That's not a weak shot. I was saying it just sounds different compared to Bouchard. And even Leon, I remember, I think it was 2 years ago, Connor I think he scored on a one-timer, but it kind of, it took a while to get in. It wasn't priority post mail. And even Leon said, it was an okay one. And this is when Leon's pounding it in from that side. And
angle.
Connor comes in and gets one in, obviously, but just not with the same power as some other players. And I'm not saying that Connor McDavid has a weak shot by no means.
It's just different.
It's just different.
Do you find Bouchard shoots more than what Barrie did?
Now he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's looking. And why wouldn't you? You know how hard it is for a guy to beat a goalie from just inside the blue line, not moving with your shot? That's crazy how he can do that. And it is like a Nolan Ryan fastball. The guys that faced those, I mean, you could probably say any pitchers, Ohtani or whatever, when he's pitching. But there's a point when the ball gets halfway and it explodes and goes even quicker. There's a few guys I played against. It just, I can see it come off the stick, and all of a sudden it's on you. Like it keeps gaining speed. And that's what Bouchard's does, is just, he can stand still and just blow it by high caliber NHL goalies. That's crazy.
What's the second best shot on the Oilers decor?
That's a good one. Like, I always look for guys that can beat goalies from distance, right?
Yeah.
There's a little bit of deception. There's placement. For a while there, I did think it was Evander Kane, but I think the wrist. I'll be interested to see how he shoots the puck this year, because I think with that injury that he had, it will finally get back to kind of where it's at. I do like the Ekholm bomb from just over the face-off dot and just goes and shelves it. That's hard because his stick's like 10 feet long. I gotta say Leon Draisaitl. And it's
I should have prefaced with it, outside of Bouchard and Leon.
Okay. Outside. Well, geez, now you put me on the spot. I gotta think about this stuff.
Ekholm's up there.
Ekholm's up there, but
I think Stetcher can really hit that puck too.
He's been in the box too much. I don't know how
he scored a couple goals on the Oilers. I remember.
Oh, did he?
Just clappers, and they were pretty
really
impressive. Okay. So,
this will make Bones happy at least. Connor McDavid has a very unique shot, I'll say, because he can shoot from any part of his body. Most of the times, guys have a certain release point on their stick or where their feet are, where they want to shoot. Connor, doesn't matter. Like, he can shoot off either foot. The puck can be behind him, in front of him. And the biggest thing when I see like true goal scorers is they always put it somewhere where the goalies have to make a save usually. And Connor's kind of one of those guys.
Yeah, on the nasty chat, we got a few here saying Nurse's wrister is underrated.
Again, I think that the bubble year, he did an unbelievable job of finding it through, like, not being the shin pad assassin. And that was one of Bouchard's biggest problems when he first
Andre
started.
Sekera.
Sekera,
Right?
yeah. Sekera owes CCM money for how many shin pads he destroyed.
Yeah. And I know he's gone, long gone, won't come back. But Clefbaum, I thought, had a pretty good one. Because he initially, when Sekera was kind of nicknamed that, Clefbaum was doing kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
But I think he improved as the years went on. And he had quite the rocket. Remember that in 2017 against San Jose, he scored that one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was huge. And that's a skill that you learn. And Bouchard's learned that. Like, even with those, I call them the silencers, those little wristers that he can get in and through shin pads and still hit the net. It'll be a lot of fun to watch that power play this year, especially with how long those guys have been together, and they seem to be able to morph into a different way to attack. Right? And they're the best when there's movement. When there's stagnant, forget about it. The penalty kills are too good. But once you get Connor moving, Leon changing spots a few times, it just opens too many opportunities.
Because Nugent's snapshot, wrist shot is pretty
great.
Like when he gets all of it, like,
great. Yeah,
his little slot
blocker side just off the pad inside the post. He scored a great one in the playoffs in the finals there. Yeah, it's a fun discussion. Who has the best shot outside of Mr. Leon Draisaitl and Mr. Evan Bouchard? Because I mean, McDavid's up there as well. Like, they're NHL shots. I mean, if you were to go to practice and watch these guys shoot,
McDavid just always wants to pass.
I know.
And he has a great shot, which is the most bizarre thing. But I just remember some of the old school guys like Sheldon Surrey.
Oh, just tee it up and no regard for human life whatsoever.
Bobo Mironov, he never hit the net.
No, but it sounded, he'd hit the glass. Sounded really hard.
Some great Oiler talk here on EST Afternoons. We got Nick Anderson from the Edmonton Elks, linebacker, coming up here in about 2-3 minutes as we close in on wrapping up hour number 2 on show number 2 here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Remember, you can listen live on edmontonsports.com, tune in radio, iHeartRadio, and you can watch us on the YouTube EST channel. You can also connect with us on the Nasty Chat on YouTube and on Paris Jeweler Inbox, 780-218-9999, and Twitter if you'd like, at Hernan the Man, at Yeg Sports Talk, and Joaquin Gage 31. Is that it?
That's it. Yeah, on the LX machine. I think it's just Joaquin on the gram. It's just Joaquin Gage. I got that. Didn't have to add a number.
I got to ask you a question about the IG. Do you let people follow you that you don't know?
Yeah,
like fans. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
you're public.
I'm public.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think Maddie has IG, so won't go there with him.
It's there. I just don't use it.
Oh.
I go into my direct messages. I have a couple group chats I'm in, but I don't look at stories. I don't look at posts.
But you also have it for Edmonton Sports Talk, obviously.
Yeah, when I have to go post, I'll post from there. But I don't do anything else on it personally. But you could go find, like, it's open, it's there. There's like 3 pictures, 4 pictures, or whatever. Okay. But I don't use it. I haven't used it since like 21.
I mean, I should probably use it a little bit more. It's usually pictures of my dog or business. That's it.
I love the pictures of your dog. They're great.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks.
All right, Nick Anderson from the Edmonton Elks is joining us next here on Edmonton Sports Talk on EST Afternoons. But first, a sports update with Matthew Wanick.
Edmonton Elks quarterback McLeod Bethel Thompson and wide receiver Curly Gittens Jr. were named to the Week 13 CFL honors list. MBT was also the top offensive player following his 486-yard, 3-touchdown performance as he led the Elks to their Labor Day win over the Stampeders. Blue Bombers quarterback Zach Collaros was QB1 at practice today as Winnipeg prepares for the rematch with the Riders on Saturday. Collaros left the game this past Sunday in the first half after taking a helmet-to-helmet hit. It's the PGA vs. Live as Rory McIlroy and Scotty Scheffler are set to battle Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau in the next installment of the match, which will take place out in Las Vegas in mid-December. And the Toronto Blue Jays will look to split their 2-game series against the Phillies. Bowden Francis gets the start for the Jays. Coming up next on EST Afternoons, Edmonton Elks linebacker Nick Anderson joins Hernan and Gager. I'm Matt Owanek. You're up to date.
Don't feel like working? Join the Hangout. You never know what you might hear. Weekday mornings 9 to 11 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Edmonton Sports Talk delivers a mass audience of key, influential customers to your business, all while you associate your company brand with the biggest names, the hottest sports news, and teams from every league around the globe. Oilers and Elks, NHL, NFL, Major League Baseball, and the Association, Formula One, soccer, golf, oh sweet mama! The excitement is palatable on Edmonton Sports Talk. It's where fans go to get their sports fix and where our partners find the most loyal consumers. Contact us today and see how our team on Edmonton Sports Talk can score the biggest goals for your business. With various advertising options available, email business@edmontonsportstalk.com or head to our website and send a message at edmontonsportstalk.com.
Why tee off at the Ranch Golf and Country Club?
A fun, unique layout offering premier conditions. The Ranch has been ranked as one of the top public courses in Canada.
Unmatched value. Score Golf Magazine rated the Ranch as the best value in Edmonton.
The service, from tournaments to special events to the pro shop. Superior service that makes every visit exceptional.
The Ranch Golf and Country Club, a laid-back environment where anyone can enjoy an amazing day on the fairways. For details, visit theranchgolf.com.
Wednesday afternoon, sunny day here in the City of Champions. It's EST Afternoons with Hernan Salas, Walking Gauge, Matthew Iwanek. Listen live on the TuneIn app, iHeartRadio, EdmontonSports.com, or watch us on the EST YouTube channel. Hit us up also on the Paris Jeweler inbox at 780-218-9999 and on the Nasty Chat on YouTube, as we're now joined by Edmonton Elks rookie linebacker who's having an outstanding first season here in the CFL, Nick Anderson. Nick, thank you for taking the time to join us today. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, definitely. Nick, let's get to the game on Monday. It was your first Labor Day experience. I know you played at Tulane and had a lot of rivalry games. How did this one stack up for you in your first Labor Day Classic and getting the big dub there in Calgary?
Most definitely. I mean, it was interesting, to just have the battle of Alberta. It was my first time playing against Calgary. Not only was it, a Labor Day Classic, but it was a game that we much needed to win, given our position in the West. And I feel like we went out there and we really handled business. You did have the, high emotions with it being a rivalry game. I definitely was able to tell quickly from the first snaps that the two teams didn't like each other. So, I fell off in the mix pretty quickly. Was able to really rise to the occasion with it being a rivalry game, and I'm glad that we were physical and we really took it to them and got the win. It was a blessing.
Nick Anderson with us, Elks rookie linebacker, who is not playing like a rookie at all. Nick, being your first stint in the CFL, especially playing the linebacker position and having so much success, how do you adapt to the CFL game? What kind of adjustments did you have to make, and was there a big learning curve, or how are you able to have such success on kind of a completely different way of playing football?
Most definitely. I really just got to credit to my coaches and then the veteran players around me. with me being a younger guy on this defense and me being a rookie, coming into the beginning of the season, the first 4 games, I kind of struggled. A lot of people were saying, oh, he came into the first 4 games, he did fine. But, I really watched the film and, really wanted to correct my drops. My run defense always has been stellar. But the thing up here is this is more of a passing lead. So I had to really just adjust my drops, adjust my coverages, really focus on trying to read the receivers, stems, especially with the waggle being something that I'm not used to. And that's what I really challenged myself to do coming after the bye week is, not be the guy that gets picked on. Because, being a rookie on defense, offense coordinator scheme you up week by week. And that was what was happening, through the first couple games. So after the bye week, I really just had that chip on my shoulder that, I'm not going to be the one that gets picked on every week. And, that's why I just came out with that mentality to get better and better each week. And that's why I feel like I've been doing, trying to stay healthy and just better my game week in, week out.
Hey, Nick, what does it mean to you to have 2 veteran guys in the linebacking core with you, with Niles Morgan at middle linebacker? I mean, he's only in his 4th season, but he's an absolute stud there. Probably one of the most underrated linebackers in the game. No one really talks about him, which is it's just unreal to me. And then you have the Wiley vet and Derek Moncrief. What have they meant for you this season?
Man, they've been the total package. Niles, being, one of the top run defenders in the league, really helping me to, know the way that to fit in our defense when it comes to stopping the run. And also having somebody like, Kreef, who, has the build to stop the run, but is a great pass defender. And he's been helping me out with the wheel drops because the Sam and wheel position are almost identical. Mm-hmm. So to have the best of both worlds in my position room, it's really been a blessing. It's been a great endurance to really learn from those guys.
Nick, you mentioned that maybe your game wasn't where you wanted it to be, and then obviously the start of the season not going the Elks' way. Getting to that bye week, getting to some film, seeing the adjustments. Now you have 70 tackles, 1 sack, 2 forced fumbles. This next Labor Day game, how do the Elks get this sweep in this Labor Day back-to-back classic? And really, I mean, you guys are setting yourselves up for, I think, a special part of for the regular season here. What's it going to take to take 2 from Calgary?
I'm just coming out with that unlimited focus. We just played those guys on Monday. Got a quick turnaround on Saturday. A lot of times, guys can get too hyped up, like, oh, we went into their place, we beat them. It's basically just keeping the main thing, and focus on going 1-0. This is, another home game, another opportunity. I think we've only won one at home this season. So, being able to come back in our place, the crowd is going to be nice, considering that, we have won, I want to say, 3 out of the 4 last games. We were close with Montreal. We just won the Labor Day Classic, so I'm expecting a very nice crowd on Saturday. And really giving them something to cheer about, having that, swagger to yourself to say, this is our home turf. These are the fans. These fans are coming in here to support us. Let's give them a show. So really just focusing on us, focus on going 1-0, correcting the small mistakes that we had on Monday, and just keeping the main thing, not looking too far ahead in the West, not looking too far ahead with the bye week, but knowing that, okay, we get to come out here on Saturday, lay it all on the line in front of the home crowd, and we get to rest until we pick it back up to carry on the 4th quarter of the season.
Joined by Nick Anderson, Edmonton Elks rookie linebacker. Nick, you currently sit 3rd in the CFL in defensive tackles with 70. You're only 8 behind your teammate Niles Morgan. When you came up to Canada, what were the expectations? Because you're having an unbelievable season here. Is this kind of what you thought you'd do, or you were just? I mean, how did the whole CFL thing come up? Because I know you spent some time with the New Orleans Saints in 2023 there in training camp and in the preseason. How did the CFL come on your radar? And is this kind of what you expected of yourself?
Yeah, most definitely. The Edmonton Elks actually reached out to me last year when I finished my time with the Saints for the extended roster period. I know Niles had gotten hurt, and they were looking for some immediate help. But being somebody that hadn't really heard of the CFL and was just in contract with the NFL team, I really was sticking around to see would I get picked up to a practice squad throughout the season. Unfortunately, I didn't. Looking back, I wish I would have went ahead and came up here. Mm-hmm. But, I just worked hard really all season. Ironically, I spent a lot of my time training with DBs, which was preparing me for coming up here because this is more of a passing league. So I feel like God really just worked everything out. At first when my agent told me about the CFL, I wasn't really educated on it. So, a lot of people look down on the CFL. But, me humbling myself and coming up here, I'm glad that I did, man. There's really some talented players up here. You think because it's not really broadcasted in the States that, it's just a Canadian league or, they don't have the talent level that the States do. And that is a bold-faced lie. I played against some really talented guys up here. I played against guys that have NFL experience. Like, the caliber of play up here is more than what I thought it was, and I'm glad to be a part of it. And, just coming into training camp, I just had that chip on my shoulder, just to really prove the doubters wrong, being in the NFL and, not getting the true opportunity that I felt like, I deserved and worked for it. It kind of gives you a chip on your shoulder. I've always been the guy that's never been the biggest, never been the fastest or strongest, but I always played hard, I always played tough, and I always played with that chip. So just coming up here, and being, given a great position to actually prove myself. That's one thing I'm forever grateful for Chris Jones. He never looked at Nick Anderson and said, oh, he's too short, or, oh, he went to Tulane, or, oh, his arms are too little. He looked at Nick Anderson and said, I think he's a great ball player. I want to give him a legitimate chance. And that's what they did. They kept their word. They gave me a legitimate chance to come in here and be a guy. And even when I struggled at the beginning of the season, they didn't give up on me. Coach Shaw's never gave up on me. He completely put his confidence in me, and, I rose to the occasion. So, I never, questioned what I'll be able to do in this league. But I'm just glad and grateful to be able to do it. For me to be in the position of a rookie, like you said, only 8 tackles behind Niles. It's something that doesn't shock me because I know my caliber of play, but I really just look at it like a blessing because, God could have put anybody in my position. God could have put anybody with the opportunities, but he chose me. And so I look at it as a big blessing. And every time I get to step on that field, I try to be, a light because I know, God could choose anybody to be, where I am, but he chose me. So I might as well go out there and make the most of it.
Nick, we had Zig Frakazi on our show from SiriusXM earlier, and he was talking about he was your boy and was actually excited to see you coming on our show as well. He referred to you as basically a Mack truck who hits everything. After watching you play, it seems like you don't hit to tackle. It's you hit to let people know that you hit them hard. Is that kind of your trading mark? Is that from what I'm hearing, this is what you were as a college player? Everyone's going to recognize who they're playing against when Nick Anderson is on the field.
Yes, most definitely. I really take pride in my physicality. When being a guy that's often labeled as, being undersized, I tried to take away that narrative early in the game, no matter who I'm playing, and really show them that no matter what, I'm going to pack that punch. And, that's always been my repertoire, being a run stopper, being somebody that's hard-nosed, being a leader, being somebody that's very instinctive. And, the one thing I always want to add to my game is just, not just being that, old-fashioned linebacker that can run sideline to sideline and make tackles, but also, rush the passer, which is something I did at Tulane. And then what the Edmonton Elks asked me to do in coverage, I really took pride in, having those abilities. Unfortunately, I dropped the interception on Monday. Hopefully, I get blessed in another position to get one of those this upcoming Saturday. But that's where I want to take my game. Just being the linebacker that really, covers it all. Everything, anything you ask him to do. And so I'm just always trying to get better, man. But yeah, man, physicality and toughness is one of the things that's my trademarks for sure.
Nick, great stuff. And I got a firsthand look at you at training camp practice and what you bring to the game. And I was field level for some of those hits you laid out. I don't know how the other guys get up, but Nick, continued success, my guy. All the best on Saturday. And looking forward to you guys going out there and getting the dub and getting the sweep of the Calgary Stampeders. Thank you for taking the time. All the best, Nick.
Most definitely. Thank you. God bless.
That was Nick Anderson. Rookie.
Hell of an interview.
Yeah, great. I love that. I love when you talk about he talks about being undersized, right? That chip. It's not a chip, it's a block. And the physicality of it all. And maybe, he came up wanted to play in the NFL and almost verbatim I remember the Chad Ochocinco. Yeah. When he came up and talked about this isn't a Mickey Mouse league. These are really good players, and it's unfortunate that it's not as more, I guess, educated in the States about other avenues to play professional ball. Obviously, there's only so many spots on an NFL team, and that's another guy playing a high-level college ball, not really knowing about the CFL, coming up here and realizing this is no joke. And
that's what you love to hear. Gabe.
Yeah, that's good. And it's kind of to me personally, it's kind of how I looked at going to Europe too, playing here, right? So same circumstances, it's kind of taking a step back, but you get over there. It's a different game, not unlike the CFL to the NFL, but sometimes you learn to dominate and win MVP trophies, and that's what I did when I went over there.
Like American players, and we heard Aaron Grimes say yesterday, my dream was playing the NFL,
of
not
course.
the CFL. But then there's only so much spots is all. And I love when a player says that, an American guy who's actually having a great year. And because unfortunately here in this country, there's a lot of negativity towards the CFL. That's not real football, that the talent's not good, it's Bush League and all that. But when you hear a guy like Nick Anderson say it, you've heard many other greats say it as well. Like, this is a legitimate league. Like, these guys are top-notch athletes. And it's a lot of it comes down to opportunity, Gage. Right?
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Being seen by the right person, landing on the correct team. And, Nick Anderson attended camp with the Saints in 2023, played in 3 preseason games. And it's one of those things that he's still young enough where maybe he's looking to make that jump.
Might get an offer here. He keeps up this type of play. And he said it before. He said, I wish I would have known about the CFL earlier, and I would have came earlier if this was the case after I knew, right? It's just...
Like, he was like, I'm almost kicking myself.
Yeah.
Like,
why'd I waste a year?
Why did I waste a year?
I could have added another year of playing professional ball.
And I don't know Nick Anderson's contract situation, but I hope he's here for at least another 2-3 years. And if not, I think it's a top priority for the Edmonton Elks, because I remember seeing him at camp, and we had a few linebackers that were coming from NFL, camps and played and they were big boys and good guys, but this guy stood out right away. And
really,
and you look at a guy like the Elks drafted Joel DeBlanco, who had pro experience too. But Joel DeBlanco is a phenomenal player, phenomenal human. But I think Nick Anderson kind of showed up and said, I'm ready to go here. So I kind of want to ask Matty. Matty, you've seen a lot of great linebackers play here in this city. We've Dexter McCoyle, we had Kenny Ladlers, we've had so many. I mean, it can go all the way back to
Senior, AJ.
Senior Mo, my favorite player, of course. But what have you made of Nick Anderson so far this season? Because like we were saying to him, like he's noticeable out there. He's not just collecting 4 tackles. You don't really know. Like, when he hits, he hits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everything you said is kind of right on, hitting the nail on the head. Like, you're the guy that had seen him the closest than anyone else. He's been fantastic. And with him and Niles Morgan, that's just a great duo within that linebacking core that you can have. So like it is a player that, you're basing everything around, and you just want to keep seeing more from this. Yeah, like that's the one thing about JC Sherritt I can throw out there. That's the one thing about this franchise. Mm-hmm. They always find linebackers.
Yeah, they do.
They do always find linebackers. It's like the Predators or Canucks. I'll always say they know how to get goalies. The Double E knows how to find linebackers, and Nick Anderson just falls into that, because like Niles Morgan is also one. Like I know we're talking Nick Anderson here, but Niles Morgan I was a big fan of from like year 1 or something. And the big thing for him for the first few years was just staying healthy.
Yeah,
just staying healthy, because when he's out there, he's a beast, and he's gone out there, and you mentioned 4-year vet. It's not that long, but he's the leader of that defense. And then you had someone like Anderson next to him. There's a reason that the Edmonton Elks defense has kind of stepped up a little bit, and it takes a while to get used to the Canadian game, and Anderson's gotten used to it, and they're doing some good things defensively.
It's great.
Yeah, he's been great, and he had a fantastic college career at Tulane. They're called the Green Wave, and now he's with the Green and Gold, which is great. Big Maple on the Nasty Chat says it's easy for pros and fans to scoff at anything Canadian until they get a taste of the sport, whether playing or watching with someone knowledgeable explaining things to them. And that's the big thing, because here the linebackers are more in coverage. Right?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's almost like you're a linebacker / DB.
Yeah.
And this guy hasn't missed a beat. And I love that, he's surrounded by 2, kind of like a mid-tier vet in Niles, because he's only in his 4th season, right? And then you have a guy like Derek Moncrief, who's played at the NFL level, actually played, and has played on a few teams in the CFL, and he's a true leader. Like, I've seen this guy in the room, and he's amazing. Niles has really become a leader as well. And when you have those 2 guys, it's just it's amazing what they can do flying around there, and they're fun to watch. Like, I know me and Maddie are kind of different, where we love watching a good defense.
Yeah,
because everybody's like, I want to watch offense, but we love watching a good defense, and those 2 guys are at the top of the list, right? And Niles, keep in mind, last year finished second in defensive tackles, Gager, and he missed 6 games.
Wow.
And the misconception also, sorry, I'm going on a rant here, but the misconception also, because when J.C. Sherritt won, when he finished, I think he had the most tackles in green and gold history. The Elks were bad, though. Like, their offense wasn't very good. Maybe I'm wrong. Maddie can correct me if I am wrong.
Well, he set a record one year for most tackles in the CFL, I believe. And that was the year they went out to Toronto for like a playoff game or something with Matt Nichols.
Okay.
And Kerry Joseph, or like it was late in the season or something like that.
Yeah, so I guess when you have 3 guys that are in the 2 guys, in the top 3, and you have an offense like the Elks do, it's just different.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're not on the field all the time. So it's just been, Nick Anderson is a stud. Number 48, if you don't know, watch him in green and gold on Saturday at 5 o'clock. Time to wrap it up. One more segment to go here on EST Afternoons on Edmonton Sports Talk, static free since 23. Before we get to that, here is a sports update with Matthew Wanick.
Edmonton Elks quarterback McLeod Bethel Thompson and wide receiver Curly Gittins Jr. They were named to the Week 13 CFL honors list. MBT was also named the top offensive player overall, following his 486-yard, 3-touchdown performance as he led the Elks to their Labor Day win over the Stampeders. Damar Hamlin will start at safety for the Buffalo Bills in their Week 1 game against the Cardinals, marking his first start since he went into cardiac arrest during a game back in January of 2023. It's the PGA versus LIV as Rory McIlroy and Scotty Scheffler are set to battle Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau in the next installment of the match, which will take place out in Las Vegas in mid-December. And in the majors, the Toronto Blue Jays, they'll look to split their 2-game series against the Phillies. Bowden Francis will get the ball for the Jays. Coming up next here on EST Afternoons, it's the final segment of the day. I'm Adam Wanick. You're up to date.
Get to know the winners, props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of injury law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oilers fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
Your brand deserves more than just a whisper. It deserves a buzz. At the Hive Product Marketing, they specialize in promotional products that bring the buzz. From eye-catching giveaways to unforgettable keepsakes, they got the perfect products to make your brand stand out and get noticed. Visit the Hive Product Marketing and let them create the buzz your business deserves. The Hive Product Marketing, the official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Visit them online at thehiveproductmarketing.com.
Pulled the wool over your eyes and the thunder began.
2:44, Edmonton Sports Talk, EST Afternoons, with myself, Hernan Salas, and Joaquin Gage, working the 1 and 2s behind the camera. Matthew Iwanek. A great interview with Nick Anderson from the Edmonton Elks. We were just talking on the break.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to put him in the Rolodex and have him on again, and he's having an outstanding season. The Labor Day rematch goes this Saturday at 5 p.m. from Commonwealth Stadium. Just a few things, if you're planning or you're not too sure if you want to, the theme is Family Day. Kids 17 and under get in free with the purchase of an adult ticket. They're going to have a new Double E Tailgate Central spot hosted by the Elks. Free hot dogs.
Oh, jeez.
How cool is that?
That's unbelievable.
And how about this? A pregame happy hour.
Really?
$3 hot dogs and $6 beers starting in stadium 1 hour before kickoff.
I'm kind of glad I'm not working, actually. Thank God.
Yeah.
We never get told there's deals. Like those, we had those Dino
nuggets.
I'll never eat a Dino nugget again. Like they were like free. We had to cook so many of those things.
Didn't they run out at one point?
Oh yeah. But
that was a great day.
That was a good
awesome.
day. That was a good day. But You know what? I should have talked to you before and seen what's the specials, because the concession's going to be packed and it's hot in there. Oh my gosh, 29 degrees.
And check this out, to make the stadium even louder, because Maddie, I don't know if you saw this, but Morley Scott said it's trending towards 30,000 for Saturday.
Wow.
Well, yeah, because the west side looks full.
Yeah.
The east is going. The lower bowl is 31,000, so it will trend that. Like, that's the thing. So now the question is, do you at all consider announcing an upper deck open? And I'm of the mindset I'm not opening up that upper deck at all.
Yeah, just keep it all.
If you get it full sold out, and I don't like that. Like, and you can't go out there and be like, we sold out. I don't think, because then people are like, no, you didn't. I see another 25,000 seats open. But you have to create that buzz that if you didn't get your ticket, like, well, I want a ticket. You go, well, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You didn't get your ticket. It's just like not everyone can get in to see an Oiler game every night. You have to create that for the entire time that this team has been at Commonwealth. There's basically always a ticket available. You now have to start going to your market and being like, if you can't get in, you can't get in. Get your tickets earlier. Plan a little bit sooner to get to these games.
Yeah.
So it'd be great if they can get to that buzz, and the fact that everyone would have to sit lower bowl.
Yeah.
Might create an amazing atmosphere. People go like, this is a fun time.
And it looked great on TV. And so what I was getting to make the stadium louder, they're giving out 10,000 cowbells.
Oh my gosh.
Maddie, are you a fan of that, or?
More cowbell.
As long as people know when to make the noise, I'm all in for it. Here's the thing for those that don't know. When the offense goes to the field, keep your mouth shut. Do not make...
It's like doing the wave when the Oilers are down a goal in the playoffs.
Well, but it's not that, though. It's not like, this is a legit thing. Don't make noise. The offense does not want noise. If you have that cowbell, you're one of the 10,000. Do not shake it at all. When the defense goes on the field, make as much noise as you want, and I don't know, do you bang them? Like, what do you do with the Cowboys bells?
You ring it.
Ring it there. Thank you. Ring it as loud as you can, as often as you can, but know when to do it. Defense, yes. Offense, no.
I like it. And they got an expanded kids zone as well. If they're taking over the entire field house, carnival rides, football, obstacle courses, and more bouncy castles. So a fun day down at Commonwealth Stadium. It's going to be a beautiful, hot day, plus 30. Probably the last weekend we're going to hit that for a long time here. Go out and support the Edmonton Elks. Everybody said, hey, if they're winning, we will go. And they're winning, and they're playing really good football right now. And you know, you saw the CFL rankings. You're seeing CFL insiders kind of talk about this team is a legit contender right now. And I mean, if they can sweep the Calgary Stampeders, it makes our jobs easier. It's just great for the vibe of the team and the city, as hockey's going to pick up here soon. But imagine hockey starting with Edmonton Oilers team that's a legit Stanley Cup contender, a favorite probably to do it, and then you have your green and gold team going to the playoffs as well.
Yeah, and go looking like a front runner to win a Grey Cup. Yeah, it's
possibility of hosting a home game.
Maybe it was you just saying this was the City of Champions. It's you predicted it. The sage over there, her name.
It's all me.
Yeah, but no, there's nothing like a sweaty bouncy castle for the kids. I've been in those things. There's something to behold.
It's kind of perfect for you though that you don't have to work the concession that day.
Yeah, no, happy hour. I'm kind of happy that I'm not gonna be there for Saturday. So, because those dogs for sale, that's ridiculous.
And if you can't get a ticket to the game, come to Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, where every day is game day, where myself and Jay Milne will be for the Green and Gold kickoff and post game shows.
Love it.
What are the specials there again?
Prime rib special is the Saturday daily special.
Okay.
I could go through the entire. So the prime rib is delicious on Saturday. Sunday surf and turf. Fridays are quesadillas. They are massive.
Oh, really?
They are massive. Okay. I had the nachos this past week. They were great. That's not a daily special, though. Thursdays is a smoked brisket cheesesteak. You'll hear a lot about that with Lieutenant Eric being there every Thursday. I forgot what Wednesdays are. And I forgot what Tuesdays are. One of those days is fish tacos, I think. Mondays is a loaded burger, and they look delicious. I had it last year, but I haven't had it this year yet.
So Saturdays is the
prime rib sandwich.
Is there
it's like a steak sandwich, but it's
like buffet style? Is there a guy with a big white hat at the end cutting it, or you just go and grab it?
No, it's just a menu.
Oh, they just bring it.
But they do have on Thursdays the prime rib special for $10. Dinner, prime rib dinners, and there's a lineup to get that.
Oh, is there?
And that's not at the sports bar; it's right across from it. But like, there's a lineup to get that for $10. Their food at Century, straight up unbelievable. I have not had a single item that I will not have a second time.
That's good. I like that.
Tommy's not a fan of the. Tommy says cowbells, my freaking ears.
Oh, jeez, Tommy.
Yeah. So I guess I'm not going to say the first 10,000, but they're giving out 10,000 cowbells at the Elks game, and I can't wait. I hope that lower bowl is sold out. And I'm kind of with Maddie. Don't open it up. Like compact everybody there. It's going to look awesome. The vibe's going to be great.
I remember Dave Jamieson talking about this. It was the Elks made it too accessible to get tickets. You have to have that exclusivity of
that's a great point.
Getting to a game, right? It's I got to the game. You did? Oh, I wish I was there, kind of thing. And talking about it. Going to the I love people just going and hanging out at the tailgate, right? I think that's great too. But yeah, it should be a great weekend. You said it, Hernan. Is this going to be the last really nice summer weekend of the year before we start looking at
Let's
a little
hope
bit cooler?
not, but yeah.
Usually September's pretty good, but let's face it, like snow is right around the corner.
Well, hey, you have to make this move. You have to win games. So right now for the Elks, the casual fan or the fan that didn't want to go because the team was struggling, there's no excuse now.
No. Yeah.
No excuse.
Yeah.
Abutski05 says on the Nasty Chat, it's so awesome to hear from Elks players other than the usual suspects. MBT for Gino. The interviews on EST with Tevin Jones yesterday and Nick Anderson were outstanding. Thanks, boys. Well, thank you, Abutski.
Thanks.
Yeah, that was great. And getting to know more. Again, we got to get him out there too, right?
I know.
Because it almost seems since Mike Riley was always quarterback, star receiver, something like that. But it's always. Because the CFL, like I said, there's a lot of casual fans. So the more we get these guys out, the more people get to know them. I think the more intrigued you're going to be like, I want to go watch number 48 lay someone out.
Yeah, now I'm sure people who is this Nick Anderson? I got to see this guy hit. And then all of a sudden you hear that you can feel bones rattling. Maybe get some more butts in the seats. So, yeah, I think it's good to get these guys out there. And you can see the side of them that you don't really know. This is a kid who loves playing in the CFL. I think that's awesome.
That's what I mean. And he kind of put away that bad taste that every time someone dogs on the CFL.
Yeah.
Like they missed a single point again, or they're complaining about the Rouge because they know they had a big conversation on the hangout about that. But I love the CFL game. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. There's nothing I would change if I'm being completely honest. Nothing. I love it.
No, it's unique. It's ours. You don't change anything. The winning the game by missing a field goal at the end. Something needs to be adjusted there, I think.
The only issue I have with that is don't celebrate.
He did his job. They won the football game.
No, come on. No, listen. He could have went like this. Like, okay, we won.
No.
But he fist pumped in the air like you missed the field goal.
But he did his job. His job
was to hit the field goal.
His job was to win the football game. His job was out there was do one of two things: get it through the uprights or make sure it goes through the end zone so it's a single. He got it through the end zone. It was a single. They won the football game. I don't care.
You cannot celebrate like that.
Did they get 2 points out of that?
Yes, they did.
Did they get the victory? Do you celebrate wins? Yes. You celebrate wins. That's what you go and do. You celebrate victories.
He could have been humble and just said, like, hey, we won. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Jump up and then the holder picks him up. Like, come on, that's too much.
Go win a football game. That's how you do it. You celebrate wins. You celebrate wins.
I gotta get Maddie something to eat here.
What's wrong with celebrating wins? You guys are the curmudgeons here. You guys don't want to celebrate victories. You want to be like, you won a football game. I should just go sit down and be polite about this.
I love Trevor Harris's face after that. He was just like, oh my God.
Are you
kidding me?
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up show number 2 on EST Afternoons. A big thanks to Zik Fracassis from SiriusXM NFL and Edmonton Elks linebacker Nick Anderson. We had some fun with Hernan's World. Tomorrow, likely going to have DVD on. I think he's going to come to us live from New York. I just got to confirm that. We'll have the Red Light District.
Yeah.
We don't have the props yet, but we will soon. We're going to check in with Maddie here to see what the budget has for that segment, and we'll have some more fun talk a lot more Elks, Oilers. NFL gets going tomorrow, so it's a big day. It's going to be great to go home and be able to watch an NFL game once again. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for chiming in on the Paris Jeweler inbox. That's 780-218-9999 and on the Nasty Chat. On behalf of Matthew Wanek, Joaquin Gage, I am Hernan Salas. Have a good rest of your afternoon. Reed Wilkins, Jay Milne, up next.
Wake up with the Nielsen Show with Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.